Most gym goers today think they train hard. They film their PR sets, post their pump checks, and call it intense. But there are 7 old-school bodybuilding workouts from the golden era and beyond that would break 99.99% of modern lifters within the first 20 minutes. These aren't theoretical punishment sessions. These are real training protocols used by legendary bodybuilders who built some of the most iconic physiques in history. Tom Platz destroying his legs with 40-plus sets. Arnold Schwarzenegger supersetting chest and back for 2 straight hours. Dorian Yates grinding through forced reps until his muscles literally failed. This video breaks down the 7 hardest vintage bodybuilding workouts ever documented, explaining exactly what made them so brutal and why today's gym culture couldn't survive them. Before we start, these routines demand extreme recovery capacity and years of training foundation. Do not attempt these protocols without proper preparation, and always prioritize form and safety over ego. Now, let's count down the workouts that separated the serious from the delusional. Number 1, Tom Platz's leg day from hell. You walk into the squat rack thinking you know what hard leg training feels like. Then you see the workout Tom Platz actually used in the late 70s and early 80s. And you realize you've been lying to yourself. This wasn't just high-volume squatting. This was systematic psychological warfare, designed to find your breaking point and then push you 3 sets past it. Platz didn't train legs to stimulate growth. He trained them to prove he could endure what others couldn't. Here's what the session actually looked like. Back squats, 8 to 12 working sets, starting around 8 to 10 reps with moderate weight, then climbing into 15, 20, sometimes 30 rep sets as fatigue accumulated. Not bounce squats. Deep, controlled descents where he'd pause and hold and fight his way back up. After squats came hack squats. 4 to 6 sets of 10 to 15 reps, taken to the point where his legs shook uncontrollably and standing felt impossible. Then leg press for more high reps despite already destroyed quads. Leg extensions followed. 5 to 8 sets of 10 to 15 with slow negatives and hard lockouts at the top. Lying leg curls came next. 6 to 10 sets to balance the quad destruction. The session ended with calf work, standing raises, seated raises, sometimes donkey raises. Another 6 to 10 sets to finish what was left of his lower body. Total working sets often exceeded 40 in a single leg session, which is double or triple what modern high-volume programs call extreme. The brutality came from lactic acid overload, so severe that lifters described as panic-inducing rather than just painful. Rest periods stayed short despite the volume, creating oxygen debt that made breathing harder than the actual reps. Training partners reportedly couldn't finish these workouts. Some would lie on the gym floor between sets while Platz laughed and loaded more weight. He earned the nickname Quadfather, not just from size, but from the intimidation factor of watching him train. This wasn't bodybuilding. It was survival training disguised as leg day. Modern gyms call 12 to 16 sets a hard leg day. Platz would consider that a warm-up. Today's lifters rest 3 minutes between squat sets and check their phones. Platz moved with purpose, stacking fatigue deliberately, using short rest to amplify the metabolic punishment. The difference isn't just volume. It's the willingness to stay in discomfort long after your brain screams to quit. Most people today don't lack the physical capacity for this workout. They lack the mental framework to embrace that level of suffering voluntarily. Survival tip. If you ever attempt Platz-style leg training, control your breathing during rest periods. Panic breathing makes the lactic acid worse. Focus on slow, deep breaths to clear CO2 and reset your nervous system between sets. And accept that walking normally won't happen for 3 days. Number 2, Arnold's chest and back superset marathon. Let's break this down like a coach explaining a game plan, because Arnold's chest and back routine wasn't random chaos. It was structured torture with a specific goal. Create the biggest upper body pump humanly possible by forcing blood into antagonistic muscle groups without rest. This was golden era bodybuilding at Gold's Gym in the 1970s, where equipment was limited and creativity was mandatory. Arnold believed training chest and back together didn't just save time. It amplified the pump by keeping the entire torso engorged with blood for 2 straight hours. The structure looked like this. Superset 1. Bench press for 5 sets of 8 to 10 reps, immediately followed by wide grip pull-ups or lat pull-downs for 5 sets of failure. No rest between exercises. Superset 2. Incline barbell press for 5 sets of 8 to 10, immediately into T-bar rows for 5 sets of 8 to 10. Superset 3. Dumbbell flies for 5 sets of 10, immediately into seated cable rows for 5 sets of 10. Superset 4. Weighted dips for 5 sets of 10, immediately into closed grip chins or pull downs for 5 sets of failure. Superset 5. Dumbbell pullovers for 5 sets of 12, immediately into cable crossovers for 5 sets of 12 to 15. Total working sets: 40 to 50 in a single session. Every set focused on full stretch and full contraction. No half reps, no momentum, no shortcuts. The physiological effect was extreme. The pump became so intense that breathing got harder as the session progressed. Grip fatigue from rowing stacked on top of chest fatigue from pressing. Heart rate stayed elevated throughout because there was no real rest, just switching between push and pull. Arnold often trained this way multiple times per week, believing the constant pump forced nutrients into the muscle and accelerated growth. His training partners at Gold's Gym adopted this approach not because it was easy, but because it worked when space and equipment forced people to share stations. Today's program split chest and back into separate days to avoid fatigue and maximize performance on each. Arnold deliberately combined them to amplify fatigue, using exhaustion as a training stimulus rather than something to manage around. Modern lifters might hit 15 to 20 total sets for chest, then call it done. Arnold was hitting 25 sets for chest while simultaneously destroying his back, and he did this while maintaining conversation and pose in between sets. The intensity wasn't just physical. It was a relentless pacing strategy that demanded cardiovascular conditioning most bodybuilders today don't possess. Survival tip: if you try this, pace your intensity on early sets. Don't go to failure on set 1 of bench press, or you'll collapse by superset 3. Think of it as a marathon where every mile still requires maximum effort. You need enough left in the tank to finish strong, not just start strong. Number 3, Dorian Yates' blood and guts high-intensity system. The gym is empty. It's 6 in the morning in a hardcore Birmingham warehouse, and there's no music, no conversation, no bullshit. Just Dorian Yates, alone, preparing to take his body to a place most people will never understand. This is blood and guts, the high-intensity training system rooted in 1990s hit culture, but perfected through a decade of brutal self-experimentation in the 1980s. Low volume, maximum intensity, every working set taken to complete muscular failure and beyond. The session is short, but what happens during those 30 to 45 minutes would destroy most lifters mentally before their muscles even quit. Here's how it worked. Multiple warm-up sets per exercise, gradually increasing weight while staying far from failure. Then one true working set, the only set that actually matters. Taking an absolute technical failure with strict form. But failure isn't the end. Force reps follow, where a training partner helps you grind out 2 or 3 more reps past the point where you can't move the weight alone. Then negatives. Slow, controlled lowering of a weight you can no longer lift, taking 4 or 5 seconds on eccentric while your muscle fibers tear under the load. Sometimes partials at the end. Half reps in the strongest range of motion when full reps are impossible. Occasionally drop sets to empty whatever's left. Then you move on. No second working set. No do-overs. You gave everything to that single set, and now you recover or you don't. The physiological stress is massive. Nervous system demands so high that post-workout fatigue isn't just muscle soreness. It's complete systemic exhaustion. Deep muscle fiber recruitment that requires days, sometimes a full week, to recover from. Yates trained each body part once every 5 to 7 days, not because he was lazy, but because his body needed that time to rebuild from the damage. Training frequency was low by design. Recovery wasn't optional. It was the entire strategy. The psychological component is what breaks people. Most lifters think they train hard because they feel tired. Yates trained to technical failure with control, meaning the last reps were slow, grinding, and required every ounce of focus to maintain form as the muscle gave out. No momentum, no cheating, no cutting sets short because it hurt. The name Blood and Guts came from visible intensity and focus, not reckless abandon. He didn't train stupid. He trained past a point where most people stop because it's uncomfortable. Modern contrast. Many lifters say they train to failure. Very few actually do. Real failure, where you cannot complete another rep with proper form despite maximum effort, feels different than stopping because a burn is unpleasant. Yates lived in that space every single working set. Survival tip. If you attempt Blood and Guts, film your working sets and watch them back. Most people think they hit failure 2 or 3 reps before they actually do. The mind quits before the muscle does. Forced reps and negatives teach you where real failure lives. Number 4, Mike Mentzer heavy-duty protocol. Here's what most people get wrong about Mike Mentzer's heavy-duty system. They think it's about doing less work. It's not. It's about doing less volume, but making every single rep matter so much that your nervous system can't handle more than 1 or 2 working sets. This is training philosophy meets extreme physical effort, developed in the late 70s and refined to the 80s when Mentzer became the most controversial voice in bodybuilding. Everyone else was doing 20 sets per body part. Mentzer did 2 and built a physique that won the 1979 Mr. Olympia heavyweight division with a perfect score. The myth that more volume equals more growth died when Mentzer proved intensity trumps volume. If you actually have the guts to train with real intensity, the protocol is structured and unforgiving. 1 to 2 working sets per exercise. Every working set taken to absolute failure. Frequent use of advanced techniques. Pre-exhaust, where you do an isolation movement to failure, immediately followed by a compound movement to failure. Rest pause, where you hit failure, rest 10 to 15 seconds, then rep out again. Negatives with 4 to 5 second lowering phases. Forced reps when you can't complete another positive rep alone. An example, pec deck flies to failure, then immediately bench press to failure, while your chest is already screaming. Or leg extensions to failure, then squats to failure. The point is to remove the weak link, so the target muscle gets destroyed. Tempo is deliberate. Slow negatives. Control positives. No bouncing, no momentum, no speed to mask lack of tension. Training frequency was low. Each body part trained once every 5 to 7 days, sometimes longer. Mentzer believed most people overtrain, that muscle growth happens during recovery, not during the workout. His system forces you to make every rep count because there's no second set to fix a lazy first set. You get 1 chance, and if you don't go to war with that set, you fail the session. The psychological pressure is intense. There's no hiding in volume. There's no hiding in volume. You can't do 3 mediocre sets and call it good enough. You do 1 perfect set that demands everything you have, or you admit you didn't actually try. Many people quit heavy duty not because it doesn't work, but because they can't handle the mental honesty it requires. The workout might last under 45 minutes, but those minutes feel longer than a 2-hour volume session because there's no coasting, no filler, no rest between efforts that matter. Modern contrast. Volume gives psychological comfort. More sets feel like more work, even if half of them are junk sets. Heavy duty removes that comfort. It tells you that 1 set done right is worth more than 5 sets done casually. Today's gym culture resists this because it feels too simple, too short, too honest. Survival tip. If you try heavy duty, accept that you'll want to quit mid-set. The goal isn't to stop when it hurts. It's to stop when you physically cannot move the weight another inch with proper form. Learn the difference between discomfort and failure. 1 is optional. The other is the entire point. Number 5, Serge Nubret high volume, short rest style. Could you handle this? Not theoretically. Actually handle it. 6 to 8 exercises per body part, 4 to 6 sets each. 30 to 45 seconds rest between sets. High reps, usually 12 to 20%. Constant movement, little sitting. Relentless pacing that turns a bodybuilding workout into a cardiovascular endurance test. This is Serge Nubret's training style from the 1970s, designed not just for size, but for shape, density, and the kind of muscle detail that photographs like carved stone. Nubret believed endless volume with short rests created the aesthetic quality bodybuilding judges actually rewarded. He wasn't wrong. His physique is still considered one of the most perfectly proportioned in history. Here's what a chest session actually looked like. Flat barbell bench press, 4 to 6 sets. Incline barbell bench press, 4 to 6 sets. Decline barbell bench press, 4 to 6 sets. Dumbbell flies, 4 to 6 sets. Dumbbell pullovers, 4 to 6 sets. Cable crossovers, 4 to 6 sets. That's 6 exercises, minimum 24 working sets, maximum 36 working sets, all done with under a minute of rest between efforts. Total session time, 90 minutes to 2 hours of nonstop movement. The weight was a maximal. Nubret rarely used the heaviest loads, but the volume and pacing created muscle endurance demand that most lifters today couldn't sustain past the third exercise. The physiological stress is severe cardiovascular demand stacked on top of muscular fatigue. Your heart rate stays elevated throughout. The pump becomes so intense that muscles feel engorged for hours after training. Nubret trained for feel, constantly adjusting angles and grips to target slightly different muscle fibers, believing that variation under constant tension created the sculpted look he wanted. At times, he trained twice per day, splitting the volume across morning and evening sessions to maintain the pacing he believed drove growth. Modern lifters rest 2 to 3 minutes between sets, check their phones, talk to friends, and treat the gym like a social space. Nubret barely caught his breath. He moved from set to set with purpose, keeping metabolic demand high, using the short rest as part of the training stimulus rather than something to maximize between efforts. Today's programs emphasize strength, progressive overload, and measurable performance increases. Nubret emphasized density, endurance, and the ability to maintain tension through exhaustion. The weight on the bar mattered less than how the muscle felt on a load and whether the pump was building or fading. The conditioning required for this style is what breaks people. Most lifters gas out after 15 or 20 total sets. Nubret was doing 35 to 40 sets per body part, maintaining intensity and focus throughout, never cutting the session short because he was tired. The mental endurance to keep moving, keep contracting, keep pushing through the burn for 2 straight hours is a skill set modern gym culture doesn't develop. Survival tip. If you attempt Nubret-style training, pace your breathing and don't lock out fully at the top of movements. Keeping constant tension means keeping blood trapped in the muscle, which amplifies the pump but also makes every rep harder. Train yourself to tolerate incomplete recovery between sets. That's where the adaptation happens. Number 6, Vince Gironda's 8x8 honest workout. Vince Gironda called this the honest workout because you can't fake it. 8 sets of 8 reps, 15 to 30 seconds rest, strict form, moderate weight, no cheating, no momentum, no ego lifting. This is density training from the 1950s and 1960s, designed to create severe metabolic stress and massive pump through time under tension rather than maximal load. Gironda ran the most famous bodybuilding gym in California and banned back squats because he believed they built blocky waists. He favored movements like sissy squats, neck presses, drag curls, and hack squats, exercises that require control and isolated the target muscle without letting stronger body parts take over. The structure is simple but devastating. Pick an exercise. Do 8 reps. Rest 15 to 30 seconds. Repeat 7 more times. By set 6, the weight feels twice as heavy. By set 8, muscles feel locked in permanent contraction, and completing the final reps requires willpower more than strength. The short rest doesn't allow full recovery, so every set starts from a deficit. Lactic acid accumulates. The burn intensifies. The pump becomes almost painful. Gironda believed this created the kind of muscle fullness and separation that defined the aesthetics of old-school bodybuilding. The physiological stress is massive metabolic demand. Muscles don't get enough rest to clear waste products, so every set builds on fatigue of the previous one. The pump isn't just blood. It's trapped metabolites creating pressure inside the muscle that forces adaptation. Gironda was obsessed with form and aesthetics over performance metrics. He didn't care how much weight you used. He cared whether you could complete all 8 sets with perfect form and controlled tempo. If you had to reduce weight to finish, that was acceptable. If you use momentum or cheated the range of motion, he'd kick you out of the gym. Modern lifters rest 2 to 3 minutes and prioritize adding weight to the bar. Gironda's system flips that priority. The weight stays moderate, the rest stays short, and the challenge of completing prescribed volume under fatigue. Most people today can't handle 30 seconds rest without their performance collapsing. They need time to recover, check their form in the mirror, adjust their headphones, and mentally prepare. Gironda demanded you stay in the discomfort, embrace the burn, and prove you could finish what you started. The psychological component is the honesty Gironda talked about. You can't lie to yourself about whether you completed the workout. Either you did all 8 sets of 8 with proper form and short rest, or you didn't. There's no gray area, no close enough, no rationalizing that 4 sets is basically the same. The discipline required to stick to the protocol when your muscles are screaming and you still have 3 sets left is what separates people who want results from people who just want to feel like they tried. Survival tip. If you attempt 8 by 8, start with a weight that feels almost too light. You'll need that margin by set 5. Focus on eccentric, slow, controlled lowering to maximize time under tension, and accept that the burn is the point, not a sign you chose the wrong weight. Number 7, Reg Park 5 by 5 Power Bodybuilding System. This is where it all started. Reg Park's 5 by 5 system from the 1940s and 1950s, the foundation that influenced Arnold Schwarzenegger and every strength-focused bodybuilder who came after. 5 sets of 5 reps. Big compound lifts, squat, bench press, barbell row, overhead press, deadlift. Progressive overload every session, or every week. Train 3 to 4 days per week, either full body or upper-lower splits. No fluff, no isolation spam, no machines, just heavy basics done with control, adding weight consistently, building dense, thick muscle through raw strength development. Park competed in both bodybuilding and powerlifting-style strongman events, and his physique proved that prioritizing strength first created size as a byproduct. The structure is straightforward but demands perfect execution. Pick 5 core lifts. Perform 5 sets of 5 reps with a weight you can handle for all 5 sets. Rest 3 to 5 minutes between sets to allow full recovery, so you can maintain performance across all 5 sets. Add weight when you complete all 5 sets of 5 with good form. The progression is linear, predictable, and honest. You either got stronger or you didn't. There's no hiding behind pump, no claiming fatigue from volume as an excuse. The barbell tells the truth. The physiological stress comes from joint and connective tissue demand. Heavy loading under control creates adaptation in tendons, ligaments, and bone density, not just muscle fibers. Central nervous system fatigue is real and requires adequate recovery between sessions. Unlike modern hypertrophy programs that focus on muscle pump and metabolic stress, Park's system built systemic strength that carried over to every physical task. The thickness and density of muscle built through heavy compounds looks different than muscle built through high-rep isolation work. It's denser, harder, more functional. Park's philosophy was simple. Strength first, size follows. He believed bodybuilders who neglected basic strength were building physiques that looked impressive but couldn't perform. His training built athletes who could lift, carry, push, and pull with real-world strength, not just gym strength. Arnold modeled his early training after Park's system before switching to higher-volume German training methods. The foundation Arnold built with 5 by 5 gave him the structural strength to handle the volume that came later. Modern lifters often avoid heavy basics because they're hard, they require focus, and they don't provide the instant gratification of a pump. Park built everything on them: squats, deadlifts, presses, movements that demand full-body tension, coordination, and progressive overload. Today's programs fragment training into endless isolation exercises targeting individual muscle head. Park's system proved you could build a complete physique with 5 movements if you committed to getting stronger at them consistently over years. Survival tip. If you run 5 by 5, respect the rest periods. This isn't a conditioning workout. It's a strength workout. Full recovery between sets allows you to maintain bar speed and form across all 5 sets. And track your weights religiously. The entire system depends on progressive overload. which requires knowing exactly what you lifted last session and adding even small increments consistently. 7 workouts. 7 completely different approaches to breaking the human body down and rebuilding it stronger. Tom Platz proved that volume and pain tolerance could build legs that defied biology. Arnold showed that pump and relentless pacing could create the most iconic physique in history. Dorian Yates demonstrated that 1 perfect set mattered more than 10 mediocre ones. Mentzer forced the industry to question whether more training was always better. Serge Nubret built one of the most aesthetic physiques ever through sheer endurance and density work. Gironda demanded honesty and discipline over ego. Reg Park laid the foundation for every strength-focused bodybuilder who followed. These weren't just workouts. They were philosophies proven through decades of results that modern training still can't replicate. Which of these 7 old-school bodybuilding routines do you think would destroy you first? Drop a comment below. And if you survived this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more golden era training breakdowns that today's gym culture desperately needs to remember.